still gotta get a...
I call the Village of Johnsburg, April 3rd, 2018 regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees to order at 7:07. On the roll, Trustee Curry.
Here.
Trustee Hagan.
Here.
Trustee Frost.
Here.
Trustee Clemstein.
Here.
And can we stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anything from the floor? Anybody want to address the board from the floor? With there being none, we'll move right along here. I have a motion on the omnibus agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion on the omnibus agenda by Trustee Curry, seconded by Trustee Frost. Okay. Discussion on the motion. Anybody want anything polled? Anybody want anything polled? Being no discussion, Trustee Clemstein.
Aye.
Trustee Frost.
Aye.
Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
And Trustee Curry. Motion carries.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. President's report. I thought I had all my stuff in order here, and I never do. But I do. Okay. As we have talked about, we are going to split the community affairs into two committees. Trustee Curry will chair them both.
Yep.
And they will work together. So he'll have 2 meetings a month. And one is going to be in the events committee that plans our events like Easter egg hunt, the holiday magic, the celebration in the park, and the wine dancing under the stars and all that. And then the other one is going to be Fields and Facilities Committee that will work at the upgrades on fields, what we're going to do, improvements we're going to do, tot lots we're going to build. If it's up to the chief, we want a tot lot on every block, right, Chief?
That's right,
So,
for the children.
Let them play.
so, with that being said, I'd like the consent of the board for the events committee, headed by Trustee Curry, of Jill McAvoy, Lisa Kuna, Jessica Johnson, Jody Hederman. Is that legal, Counselor? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just-
Barrett.
I just want to see a background check on the chairman.
Okay, okay.
I did black.
And Dawn Barrett.
It's gonna take court order.
The Fields and Facilities Committee, also chaired by Trustee Curry, will be Sherry Dory, John O'Brien, Ken Calhoun, Steve Link, Scott Thornton, and Scott Diedrich. I have their profiles here. You guys got them in your email, I think. Had a chance to look at it. So I'd just like to have the consent of the board to go with those appointments. All in favor? Good. Thank you.
Will the minutes reflect a more verbal outpouring of support?
They all raised their hand.
Couple had nods.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I twitched.
So, we are still looking for one person for the events committee. We usually have plenty of people for community affairs, so we have a opening yet on the events committee.
Lori Peters should be coming in with her application very soon.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
And would you like her on that, your committee?
Yes.
We'll do Lori Peters tonight, too.
She related to Claudette, is that?
Is that a conflict?
That's way
Maybe if you go back far enough.
All right. With that, I'd like to recognize our village accountant, Kim Giovanni, and our village administrator, Claudette, who worked very hard. For the second year in a row, we got the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. So it's 2 years in a row. We will have another button for our plaque out there. So let's give Claudette and Kim
Great job, team.
Kim does all the hard work, I cannot.
No, she says
Yeah,
no.
you gotta give credit where credit's due, she does a great job.
Okay. Move to accept the bid in the amount of $16,900 from Maple Construction for directional drill work related to the relocation of utilities at Chapel Hill Golf Course. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Curry, seconded by trustee Hagan. Okay, we're gonna have some discussion on the motion. Tim, do you wanna go into really what we're doing there? You all got maps in
Yep,
front of you?
right here.
Okay,
Yep.
you got maps coming up here?
Just want to-
So,
want to take one back.
Okay, so the first two motions will describe, I'll talk through it here quickly, but my letter is pretty self-explanatory. I have been meeting with ComEd, NICOR, the Miles family, Golf Vision is collaborating with Comcast to bundle phone, internet, things like that, as Wi-Fi for the 19th hole. Right now, you see everything comes into the existing, what used to be the banquet hall, locker rooms, clubhouse, et cetera, the main building. That is going to be demolished this fall. We're collaborating with the fire department. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get the permits through EPA. We also have to get clean letters that there is no asbestos or other materials left in there, and so that's the third motion that we'll talk about tonight. Very minor stuff that's in there. But everything comes into that building in the northwest corner, and then it comes out of that building to every piece of infrastructure on this site. And so in order to demolish it, we have to do this work this summer. And so we'll be directional drilling a 4-inch over to the 19th hole, a new transformer and sub-transformers and new panels. Everything will be placed in that corner. And then we'll screen it with some fencing. We've been collaborating very closely with Tim Miles Senior and Junior, and we're trying to not cause any hardship with any golf tournaments, golf events or functions. So they'll sit over here on Club Drive, directional drill, and pop up next to that corner. And then a few feet away, they'll directional drill a 2-inch for Comcast, and then 10 feet away, they'll directional drill a 2-inch conduit for NICOR. Currently, the facility is on two 250-gallon propane tanks, and they fill those up every 2 to 3 weeks. And so we're evaluating the cost of that. If it becomes too costly, that conduit can always be utilized for other improvements in infrastructure, so it's not lost money. And then, so this first bid is Maple. We've used them out at the Public Works facility to get out to the sign and in other areas of the community. We received 2 quotes, and it's our recommendation to give them the green light, because they need to get out there and do that. Then ComEd, which we signed all of their agreements and sent them the check, they are going to be coming out, disconnecting the existing building, removing the old transformers, and then they'll pull brand new wires, primary. They'll set a transformer, and then the next motion for the electricians to come out and do that work. We'll talk about it then. But this is an overall plan. The storage building stays. That building next to it that says removed, that's already been removed by the Miles. This summer, we're going to demolish that house. The NICOR and ComEd have been disconnected, and we'll be just demolishing that. That's a building that can't be burned down by the township. It's too close to the neighbor's garage. So that'll be demolished, topsoil seeded blanket. It'll just be a green field for the time being. Then this fall, we'll demolish the existing building. Currently, we're working with Obanoff and Chief and his staff and Public Works staff. We're all working together to get that building organized, cleaned up, and actually we have Obanoff. We're going to set it up in lots in the lower level, and they believe that there is a real opportunity for these restaurant reuse companies, that they'll come in, take all the equipment. There's a ton of ovens, deep fryers, refrigerators, freezers, stainless steel tables. There's a lot of value to that, and so that's going to go back into our coffers to help fund some of these improvements. So they're going to set that up in end of April, and then have the auction in May, and then it'll be the responsibility to take that stuff out of the building. There's no sense in burning the building down with that in there and then have to handle it after the fact. So we can get money for it and have scrappers come in and take as much out, we're gonna pay less on the ultimate cleanup.
Has Ovenoff been out there to look at it?
Yes, yep.
Do they give any idea of how much you think you would get for all that used equipment, or no?
He said 10, or 12 to 20 thousand.
Would be our share, right?
Would be their share, and he would take a percentage.
Sure.
His people are going to come in there, organize it, move it, set it up, take pictures, put it on the web, coordinate with all their contacts, so that's work we don't have to do or we don't have to pay for. That's part of their fee, which is a couple $1,000.
Right, great company to work with.
Yep. So once they're done, finished, cleaned up, item number 3 is, Public Works is gonna go in, take down the gridded ceiling in the men's locker room and remove, half a dozen sheets of paneling, and that will expose this, many of you may remember Marlite paneling, 4x8 sheets. The original building had it on the north wall, a little bit on the ceiling, and a little bit on the west wall. And they also left fluorescent, old fluorescent bulbs, the PCB-filled ballasts, and the 8-foot and 4-foot bulbs. The gentleman who's on item number 3 is going to discard all that per EPA standards, and we'll get clean letters, and that's what's needed for the fire department. They'll send in the clean letter, there's no hazardous material, and then they'll put in for a permit, and then they can burn it down and test. But they're going to do it over 2 to 3 days, and so our thought is, we got a lot of work to do this summer without disrupting the golf course. We want it to be successful, and then we can do all that, and then in the fall, when golf season's over, they can get in, start it on fire, test, put it out over 2 or 3 days, and then burn it down. And then in the winter, we can clean it up, topsoil, seed, blanket, and then next year we'll have a nice flat spot, or maybe a tent, or maybe just a gathering area, or where they could park the carts or something, so that's the first item on the agenda for Maple, to do the directional drill of 3 different pipes.
Is there anything we have to do to the 19th hole? Is this equipment just going to the outside of it, or is there?
Nothing, inside, the panels are all inside, and we're gonna be just kind of reconnecting to the new transformer. Everything comes out along the putting green, and again, it's, working with the Miles and others, just trying to find where everything is. Everything seems to come in and out of that old building, so.
There's a well underneath that.
Yeah, you see there, it says existing 3-horse potable well. We have power to it now. In the next bid, we have power going to it, but we are currently evaluating and getting at least 2 quotes for a new potable well where you see just south of the 19th hole, because that existing well is in a pit. It's about 15 feet down below grade. They're not allowed anymore. So if we could save it, cool, but then we'd have to pay to have everything brought up above grade and capped. By the time we look at that, we'd probably spend $2 or $3 grand more than a brand new well right next to this 19th hole building. And it keeps the hydrodynamic tank size like maybe the ones you have in your homes. If we left it there and put everything over here, it would be the size of a refrigerator, that captive air tank. So there was some good news in that building. There's 2 or 3 transformers that transform the power that ComEd brings in down to what the well pumps are, and those are totally reusable. That probably saved us 15 grand. So we're reusing those and putting them over in a doghouse next to the clubhouse, and we'll do a cedar fence screen. And again, I'll continue to bring smaller projects forward as we get them, but these 3 that we're talking about tonight are going to keep us busy for the next month and a half.
Another thing to notice that, Tim said, one of the reasons the fire department wants to use it for training, so they're gonna light it, put it out several times before they, take it all the way down. And we can't hardly, if we had a west wind, you'd be blowing soot all over your golfers and golf outing, and if you had an east wind, you'd have the neighbors all mad with their windows open, so, we don't really have a choice to wait until, late fall, early winter. And the fire department would rather do it then too. So, otherwise we, I know we all want to get going and wish that we had it done, but Okay, so that covers all three of those items, correct? You just covered all three of them.
Yeah, in a roundabout way. The next one was, I got 3 quotes from local electrical contracting firms. The second item is, our recommendation is to go with Cary Electric in the amount of $34,460. That actually connects everything that ComEd brings. It also takes it from the 19th hole, ties to the HVAC on the east side, ties out to that 20 horsepower irrigation well, ties back to the 3 horse, allows 100 foot of power allowance to that future well. And I don't want you to think that power out to the 3 horse is wasted money, because what we'll do then is when the building's done and gone, we'll actually set it on a 6x6 post, have an exterior breaker panel. That way someday if we ever have a tent or an event or function, we got power out there that you could plug in a trailer or plug in something, lighting, whatever. So that's why we wanted them to include that in their bid. It converts everything that's in this building to the new transformer, ties it all together. So that's what their bid is, all inclusive of everything that we see going on out there. And then the last bid, I've already described that, that's with AES. They did they tested everything from the roof material to the caulk, to the carpeting, to the tile, to the wall space. They got in and got out. We've used these guys, this one-man firm, and again, he's very reasonable. This is very specialized work, and so he gave us a proposal that if Public Works would take down the ceiling and those panelings off, he would remove everything else and get all the EPA permits, discard of it appropriately, and write the clean letter for that amount. And the reason I recommended 10 grand was because we counted the number of light fixtures, and we counted the 8-foot bulbs and the 4-footers. But if we missed a few, I mean, it's going to be based on actual, measured in the field. But as you start taking down ceiling tiles, you find stuff.
A lot of stuff bedroomed in there.
Yeah. Yes. So with that, you're correct, that everything is, all 3 of those items have now been explained. In the next months to come, I'll come back for a little concrete work around some of these areas, after a lot of this work gets done. I'm working with Public Works to do the little paving and patch. If something gets substantial, then I'll get quotes, but if we don't see that, I'm working with Davey on the patchwork near the bore pits and stuff. The screen wall is a 6-foot cedar fence that we'll work with and get some quotes from a fencing contractor. The potable well, I'm getting 2 minimum quotes for a new potable well. Heman, Schnelton are the 2 I'm working with. The well supply is coming from this 20 horsepower pump. Legend has it, or folklore has it, that actually comes through that well pit and maybe comes into that building, or the original building was here, and so it may have come this way and run around, but when they did the addition, they may have gone over it. But if not, we just have to redirect it around the south side of the building. So we'll get some work with the well drillers, put that in order. 2 parking lot lights, we'll get quotes. They're out there, power is to them, but they're broken. And then our ultimate goal is after the auctioning, after it's cleaned up and ready prior to burning, we're going to have it boarded up, paint the boards black, so at least it just looks blacked out, but yet the building's secured, because every week or day we leave it open, it seems some kids find it funny to get in there and kind of toss things around and cause more destruction. So we'll board it up so it'll look nice, and Public Works will clean up around it, and then we'll be ready for the burn, but at least during the golf season, it'll just look like an unused building, It does look okay, except, some of the windows and doors that are...
Clean the landscape.
Yeah. And then demo, haul off in the house, the old building, and then landscape restoration, we'll just continue to get quotes, but these were the most important to get going, because ComEd is holding our date towards the end of April to come out and run the pipe, set the transformer and things, so that's what we're...
They know they gotta keep the 19th hole up and running and all that
Yes.
good stuff.
Yep, and we also talked, we have the generators and some other ideas, but the game plan is to get everything put in, get everything set up and tested, so it literally We could do it first thing in the morning, they could snap the power off, make the connection in the transformer to the panel, and we're back up and running within a couple hours or less. So there could be, zero downtime, no need for a generator. That's the game plan. But the Miles Golf Vision has been wonderful to work with, and, they're responsible for paying the utilities and paying all this other stuff, so, they understand, they signed the ComEd stuff for the agreement, so they've been very accommodating, opening the place up and working with us and trying to tell us where everything is as far as they know. So,
What they know.
what they know, right?
What, okay. So, is there any further discussion on the first motion? With there being none, trustee Clemson?
Aye.
Trustee Frost?
Aye.
Trustee Hagan?
Aye.
Trustee Curry? Motion carried. Okay, now we're gonna take a break and back up to the president's report, because we have something very important to do. We all gotta sing the village administrator happy birthday. And there's cupcakes over there and some water. So, who's the best singer here, Kyle?
Looking at me?
No? Huh? Okay.
Happy
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bud. Happy birthday to you.
So if anybody wants to get up and go get a cupcake now, a bottle of water, they're welcome to do it.
I'll be the one.
Okay? Kyle's gonna bring the whole tray.
Can't wait.
Go ahead.
Our done middle first.
Help yourself.
I can get two more motions.
What I say?
He wants two more motions. I can get two more motions, and
Tim, you did what I asked you, so I won't hold this against you, okay?
Thank you.
You're, 25 today, right?
These are just my invitations.
25 today, Clint?
25.
Yeah, you bet, all day long.
Wonderful. Thank you.
25. I think he just needs one of those, right, Michael? That's yours, then?
Yes.
The other one will keep yours.
Yeah, that's probably what I should do.
Check to make sure I got the seal on the certificate on the back page too, Michael.
Oh.
Hey, what are you doing?
Jude, find you.
Mr. Curry, make sure you get a couple.
I think this is good.
I'm trying to avoid it.
Did you notice that I actually, I attached sign?
Yeah, I know, but.
Okay.
Water, you gotta
We're not gonna leave you alone at this video. I'll let you know, okay, what? I don't know what.
Okay, I have to go have it.
I'll probably grab one.
Get that committee.
Keith, you want one?
No, I already take an extra shot.
The first thing you talk
Watching your weight.
Steve Sprager is his name, he'll come out and look, if it's too close to other homes, they can move it.
Come on,
I'll take just one. It doesn't matter. You tell everyone there. We got one. We're good. Open up. I'm good at it.
Order for training, what they're gonna need is you would have to have like a...
Ended up $30 in my favorite.
He'll come in, so... They'll look at the ceiling tiles, they'll look at the...
Well, yeah, fine.
So if there's any of that,
That's fine.
touch it, so...
Yes, you will. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kim.
And so even a demo guy wouldn't do that, or they, if you...
We had a gas station.
They'll bring in their guy, you know.
My wife even saw it. You gotta pay the. Describe it.
You know, I don't even know if there's a fence, really, there might be a fee, but you pay that
It was
through the,
killed,
McHenry Township Fire Protection.
They were, moving a boat in or out of the water and it got crushed between the boats.
They might not want-
So Claudia, we don't have any more, that's
My
great.
closest you are to other houses, I don't know.
Great top, oh God, that stuff is like,
Great.
yeah. You're not wanting something that's like 3 years old.
Yeah, like a black cherry, it was kind of weird.
They've got a lot of rules about being close to other places.
Oh, look, I've got a ring, how
How close is the nearest house to you?
I thought it was out. It's pretty close, isn't it?
That's not the case.
I would say probably.
It's getting neat, I'm gonna get
No, they want
Really?
Kleinfeld's house.
Because
the heat of that fire, you just want to have more. I
So is that everything you need from us? I think
They
so.
gave it to them, I think.
Yeah,
there was.
I can see how close this is.
I didn't get
This
that
is
back.
the building here.
I didn't either.
That's the garage, and, you know what I mean, they won't even think of that.
Could be channels on DirecTV, I'm like.
And I'll bet you they have it too much. Yeah, we went
Over
early.
to the country.
Yeah, we love to.
No, I
Robert
Go ahead,
Plant,
Rusty.
AES Environmental, give them a call, because even the demo guys are gonna.
Like the golf course right here.
Yeah.
You got the
They're not
concrete right out
gonna
there,
do
right?
construction materials free to a landfill.
People use it.
They get a clean
No,
back.
out there.
They should, but
Right?
I'm just telling you, that's
You're
just
sweeping the wrong
came in
way.
for us.
I don't know what you're doing.
And for $280 only.
We got cupcakes.
We're all fired up.
On the
Yeah.
contract.
Sugar.
It's a great resource to have.
I didn't eat mine.
This was $280 for.
I'll save that for the
demo
executive
inspection
session.
Well, yeah, you better bring the rest of them.
Yeah, that's what I need to go there.
She'll take all he's gonna tack on his management overhead and profit, and this guy, or call him direct. And just tell him you talked to me.
Okay, now that we had our break, our kindergarten break. Okay, next thing,
Two more motions.
move to accept the bid in the amount of $34,460 from Kerry Electric Contracting for utility recoats, relocates, upgrades at Chapel Hill Golf Course. Motion. Second. Motion by trustee Clemstein, seconded by trustee Curry. On the roll, trustee Curry. Trustee Hagan. Trustee Frost. Trustee Clemstein. Motion carried. Move to approve bids in the amount of $10,000 from AES Environmental for building remediation and abatement work at the Chapel Hill Golf Course. Motion by trustee Frost, seconded by trustee Hagan. Discussion on the motion. With there being none. Trustee Curry.
Aye.
Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee
Aye.
Frost. And trustee Clemstein. Motion carried. Move to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the village. Motion by trustee Curry, seconded by trustee Hagan. On the roll, trustee Curry.
Aye.
Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee Frost.
Aye.
And trustee Clemstein.
Aye.